know somebody needs to hear this because the amount of resistance, both internally and externally, to create and like make this video and talk about this has been so strong to where like the voice is strong with this one. Like, I know I need to talk about this and I have not been wanting to. And today was just the day that it needs to be put out there. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about this, may be a series because we will be here for 5 ever. Okay. But we're going to sum it up in pretty much how I recreated myself after I lost myself. And like I said, I'm going to make multiple videos touching on different parts of this. But yeah, so my healing, my health journey, narcissistic dynamics, just motherhood, and how mother wound has played into that, what I've experienced from my experience. So, yeah, hopefully my mic is golden and the sound is okay. If not, let me know. But I'm gonna find something to sit on so I don't look so awkward. And I apologize in advance for any of the noise and the planes, but we're gonna roll with this because if I don't do it now, it's never gonna happen and it needs to happen. So I'm just gonna get comfy here. I'm gonna readjust a little bit. All right. So, how I rediscovered myself after losing myself. And there were so many different aspects of that went into me losing myself, and you don't even really realize it until you're already gone, like, and one day you just wake up and you're like, fuck, like I don't even know I don't even know myself, dude, like, and it is really a reality check because you're going through your days and you realize, like, damn, like I don't even really like the person that I am right now. And I don't even know this person. Like, this isn't me. Like, I know this is not me because I don't feel like myself. I don't even know who I feel like. And so what really sent me over the edge and what really did it for me was becoming a mom. And becoming a mom has been one of the biggest blessings, but also one of the biggest challenges, both just with everything that comes along with motherhood and co-parenting, and but also the inner work that has come with it. You know what I mean? I had my daughter very young. I was 19 when I got pregnant and I turned 20 only a month after I had her. And so I was still a kid. I was still a baby having babies. And so but what really I would say, I realized that I could not be a good mother anymore in the mind state and the environment that I was in. So I had to change that. And what I, the biggest thing that was funny is because, like, I didn't leave the situation or change my life because, oh, anything that had to do with me. I had to come to that. Like, I did it for my daughter, and because I realized that it was not fair to her and her life to continue to go on how I was going on. So after everything's said and done, where I'm on my healing journey, and then I started to not say be selfish, but more so finally came to a point to where I realized I could put myself first and that I had to in order to fully show up and be able to take care of my daughter in my best state. Because if we are not taking care of ourselves, how are you going to take care of somebody else genuinely? So it's like there's this like fake standard, or I would say that it's becoming less and less common now that we have a lot of different forms of parenting online. So it's not as woo woo, I would say. But traditionally, society had placed this pressure on moms to always put everybody and everybody else's needs before theirs, or you're a bad mom. You know what I mean? So I completely rebuke and disagree with that. I think and I believe and I've experienced for myself, and just a disclaimer, all of this is my beliefs, my experience, and what I have done. And just remember that not all size fits all, and that everybody is different. So, anyways, I believe, and for me, that putting your health and yourself as a mom and as a person and making sure that you're taken care of allows you to fully show up emotionally and physically and just in all the ways for your kids or your family, or if you don't have kids, then for your business and for your mission and your purpose. So by taking care of yourself first and allowing your mind, body, and spirit to be in alignment and to be taken care of, and your cups are filled, allows you to fill other cups. You know what I mean? If you're just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, no wonder you're drained and you're felt depleted and your energy is low. You know what I mean? Because you're not pouring into your own cup, but you're filling everybody else's. So it's like, in order to pour out onto others, you must pour onto yourself first. So that was a little side quest. But I took a couple notes because I knew I was going to lose my train of thought. But I just wanted to, oh, yeah, main thing is that when I became a mom, and even now, like I say these things, but my daughter's still only 5 and I'm still growing. I'm still in the midst of my journey, and I'm still in the midst of learning and breaking my own cycles, and just becoming more emotionally intelligent, becoming just more grounded. And yeah, so with all that said, I also have one of the biggest things that has been both a challenge and a blessing has been that karmic cycles will repeat until they are complete or broken. So that is like a main thing that was always like a question in my mind, as far as like, I was always like, why, like, just curious, just because like I just like the science and like the psychology and everything behind the things. So like, I have a dad. Like, I love my dad. My dad's freaking awesome. Like, you know what I mean? If you met my dad, like, he's dope. Like, he's like the neighborhood dad. Like, he's always like, yeah, like. But he's super, like, we have a really good relationship, like, with all that said. So it's like, I didn't have daddy issues. Like, you know what I mean? So me choosing somebody to have a child with, like, that decision always, like, was a question in my mind, like, why would I choose this type of person, Because my dad is nothing like that. Like, you know what I mean? And I had to think about it. And I'm just like, even though, like, yeah, like I have some mother wound that I have worked through, and just trust issues and stuff like that I worked through. But like, I'm saying, like, specifically in reference to the archetype, like, and I'm just like, just the other day was talking to my staff and had the realization that my mom's dad was almost the exact same archetype as my daughter's dad. And so I'm over here like, 10% battery, bye. So it's just crazy how, like, until you become aware and fully break those cycles, they will continue to repeat. And so, like, bless the heavens. Thank you, God. Thank you, ancestors, that I went through that and I experienced that and I was able to break that so that my daughter didn't have to do that and doesn't have to go through that. And like, there's just things that I have been able to kind of like, I like to say, like, get an expedite card when you, not to say that you can't do the inner work when before you become a parent or whatever, but there's just certain things that like I have personally been, given insight on through, prayer or meditation or just visualization or just visions and seeds that have been dropped to me that I knew am supposed to break certain generational cycles, and I was, my purpose is, that's part of it, breaking these cycles and completing these whatever. So there was a point in my life where, in my journey and my just awareness and my consciousness, that, it, especially when I was younger, like it felt exciting. Like I knew, like, okay, I'm meant to break generational, or like, create generational wealth and break this poverty cycle that has been going on for decades and decades and decades in my family. And that was something that was really exciting to me. And also, just as far as like what I had just talked about and other things that I know is part of my purpose. But then, there was a point in time where I started feeling pressure or unworthy or like, why me? You know what I mean? Or like, why me? Like, like, choose someone else, please. Like, like, wanna like throw the fucking rock back in the ocean. Um, or just feeling doubt, fear, worry, like, and or not capable or qualified, and all of these limiting beliefs that would come up, you know. Um, but I realized that after, again, doing more learning, doing more healing, doing more inner work, it just sorry, I had to reframe it because I realized that I would never have even been given the vision if I wasn't meant or worthy or that I wasn't capable, you know? So don't trick yourself out of your position. Okay? Don't trick yourself out of your position. Don't self sabotage because, and I'm talking about not just relationships, not just life, like just everything in life. Like, don't self sabotage. This is also something that I'm working on, like, as far as like, um, healthy dynamics and healthy masculine energy and healthy relationships and not, you know, being the, you know what I mean? When they, when when they say like when you get out of a toxic relationship, like you don't realize like, oh, now you're the toxic one until you heal all these things. And not even just like relationships, but you need to go back to your childhood and question everything and look at it and really allow yourself, because your subconscious blocks negative memories, and not blocks, but it pushes them back, so allow yourself to remember, because I've forgotten so many things, or I thought I forgot, until you go and you journal about them. Go journal, go write stuff out, and just don't stop until your hand does. Like, um, you will discover so many things, and you'll just be so, you'll, it will shed so much light. And just being aware is the most important step, because through awareness, then you can choose, like, okay, is this something that resonates with me? Is this something that serves me? Is this something that I choose to continue to live by? No, or yes. Like, is this something that is aligned with my purpose and my path going forward? If not, drop it, reframe it, and choose a new belief, you know? But yeah, that was kind of like off on a tangent, but let me just like look at this real quick, because I we're gonna have to do like a whole series on this because I'm telling you, we will literally be here forever. But so yeah, some of the main things that I did, actual like tangible things that you can write down. That was kind of just like a little bit of a um so some of the main things that I would say that I did other than, journaling, meditating, praying, talking to my higher self. There's nobody that you should be getting advice from other than your future self and God. Someone is not where you want to be in life, don't take their advice. Like, you can take it with a grain of salt. You can take what serves you and leave what doesn't. But at the end of the day, people have wisdom, but it don't, act on things that aren't going to get you closer to your goals just because somebody said, "Oh, it's not going to work," or "Oh, this is going to work. Actually, you should do this." You know, um, do what is aligned for you. But anyways, so one of the main first things that was difficult for me was not difficult, but it probably took the longest to actually, no one's perfect. There's still days where I'm like, oh, I can just say no. But learning to say no to others and yes to yourself, okay? Enter a season of no, which is really a season of yes to you and your goals and your future and your life. Because after, being in a narcissistic dynamic, I don't even say relationship because that was not no relationship. That was not, nope. After like, regardless if it was like a parent or a teacher or a relationship or whatever it was, recovering and healing after a narcissistic dynamic, learning how to say no, because a lot of the times you fall into the role of yes man, like, like just yes, 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 because the other side, like, you don't want to, you don't want to deal with that, sometimes you just say okay because it's easier than the other option. But you think it is. That's limiting belief, because when you're in the midst of it, it's we're talking about after. Like, that's a whole nother video of like, if you're in a narcissistic dynamic currently, I may have to make a different video on that because that's a whole different set of advice. Oh, because I don't know how to like say run without just putting it in all caps. But not. Anyways, learning how to say no to others and yes to yourself. Because once you start saying yes to yourself and no to everything else that doesn't serve your purpose, then you can truly start to ask and find yourself, because you start almost becoming other people or becoming that other person because you adopt their mannerisms, their speech, their way of being, their, you know what I mean? Because you're just going along, you're kind of just in this like trance state, at least for me personally, just this like state of like, you know, it's really weird. Like I said, I'll make a whole another different video of that. But the aftermath, just learn to say no, aka saying yes to yourself. This is a hard one. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for the other person, though. Forgiveness is for you to have peace of mind, peace of heart, and peace of being so that you can move forward. It's not, oh, baby lizard. Forgiveness is not saying that it is okay or that anything is okay. Forgiveness is releasing yourself as the victim and becoming the victor. So I'm gonna adjust this real quick. Okay. So releasing yourself as the victim is like, get rid of that victim mentality. Okay, you're not a victim. I'm gonna say it again. You are not a victim. Okay, well, nothing happens to you. Life does not happen to you. Why me? Why me? No, you are not a victim. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop feeling sorry for others. It doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve them. Period. Point blank, period. Anyways, that was it. Be delusional as fuck, okay? Hopefully YouTube doesn't censor me. But be delusional because look, one of the main things, like when you come out of a dynamic that's like you get made fun of for like things like manifesting and affirmations and even meditating and just you know you get talked down like you're delusional, you live in a fairy tale world, like what do you think this is, Disney Channel, like that's not realistic. And you start to believe these things. You're like, maybe this isn't realistic. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe I do need to lower my standards. Like maybe that only does happen in movies. Maybe so you really start to question yourself, your beliefs, your visions that God fucking gave you. Sorry. But like you're no, not sorry. Thank you. Don't be sorry, be you. You start to question the seeds that the universe literally planted inside of you because some fucking asshole told you so. No! Continue to be delusional. If you're a glow girly here, I love you so much. And it's only delusional until it's done, okay? It's only delusional until it's done. You need to be delusional. If your dreams are delusional and not delusional, if your dreams are realistic, they're not big enough. Two. Okay? Set crazy dreams, okay? And then you set realistic goals to reach each step of those in between that. But your vision should sound crazy to somebody else looking at your life right now. Like, how in the world are you supposed to get there and you're here right now? You just laugh because you know it's going to happen. The how doesn't matter because your vision and your mind, and you already told the universe, you already put that in there that this is my end goal. So whatever I need to do whatever actions I need to take to get there, I'll do it. I'm going to, as long as it's aligned, be willing to do the work and be willing to be uncomfortable. If you're not uncomfortable, you're stuck. Or if you are uncomfortable in a way, when I say uncomfortable, I mean doing things that are pushing you past your comfort zone and pushing you out of your current state to a better, newer, higher state. But get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're not uncomfortable, you're stuck. But if you're uncomfortable to where like when the other, way of saying like uncomfortable is that like you hate your life and that you're like, you know what I mean? Change. Do something about it because you have the power to. Okay? You have the power to change because everything that's happened up until this point has been because of you. We are the only people to blame. Your life is your responsibility. You chose to come here and experience these things. Don't forget it, sweetheart. Don't forget it, sweetheart. Okay? You chose this. We chose to be here. We chose to experience this. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So, to tie that all back to forgiveness, you have to be willing to accept that everything is a reflection or a projection. Everything is a reflection or a projection. So everything is a reflection of you. So everything that you're experiencing in your current reality is a reflection of you. And say like you only have the power to respond. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have the power to decide if someone fucking flips you off in traffic. But are you gonna be like, oh, you fucking bitch, and like flip them back off? Or are you gonna be like, oh, damn, I hope that person has a better day. Like, like, so it's like, if someone is over here like telling you like, oh, like you can never be anything without me, like, you wouldn't be shit without me, like da 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 da, and it's like, that's a projection. That's a projection because that's something that they feel about themselves that they're projecting onto you. Same with like bullying. Like, you know what I mean? Like that is always a reflection of how that person feels about themselves and they are projecting that onto you. You know what I mean? And so everything is a reflection or a projection. Sorry, I keep looking at my notes. I just want to this is something that here's a reframe for you guys that has stuck with me ever since. So if you're grew up hearing fake it till you make it, I used to be one of those people that would be like, yeah, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Because guess what? I grew up as someone that always had a mask on, even subconsciously. I grew up in a Mexican household and where our outbursts and our emotions usually were not accepted or received well. So like hopefully my phone doesn't die because we're on 1%. But anyways, um face it till you make it. Okay? Don't fake it till you make it. Face it till you make it. Embody it until you become it. Embodying is becoming. So yeah, I'm going to have to wrap this up and do